As part of the Framingham Reads Together program, the library welcomed Dr. Harvey Tannenbaum to the McAuliffe Branch Library to discuss the Chandra X-ray Center telescope and its discoveries. The Framingham Reads Together committee expanded the idea of flight. This year's book selection was The Wright Brothers, to include space and discovery. Dr. Tannenbaum served as director of the Chandra X-ray Center at the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory in Cambridge until 2014. He gave an interesting presentation of the building and launch of the telescope and images of what the telescope has discovered in space.
Having lived in Framingham for many years now, it's particularly nice to be able to speak in my adopted hometown. And of course to be connected to the inauguration of the Christa McAuliffe Branch Library. Christa's connection to NASA and the space program to me is a particularly poignant connection for things like Chandra and the shuttle and so on. Tell you is that I'd worked on this project, this Chandra X-ray Observatory, which we're going to talk about tonight, for 40 years now. The proposal that I co-wrote with Riccardo Giacconi was sent to NASA in April of '76, so it's just 40 years that I've worked on it. So this is a NASA project. Smithsonian and our team worked very closely with NASA, but NASA built a suite of 4 missions which were called the Great Observatories. Eileen Collins was the commander, and it's the first time the shuttle was commanded by a woman. If you look at the sky and see the constellation Orion, it has 3 stars in a belt, and below the belt is a little fuzzy patch you can see with a small telescope. It's called M42, or the Orion Nebula. And when you look through the cluster and you see those galaxies, the shapes of those galaxies are distorted by what's called weak lensing. Einstein's equations actually talk about the fact that mass can bend light. As a star, as it gets close to the sun, the position of the star seems to have changed because of the bending of the light. And there's stuff with Mercury's orbit that was affected by the sun and so on. So Einstein did a lot of things that probably people thought they'd never be able to see or test. But the lensing, it's called, the galaxies behind the cluster will be slightly distorted. And if you collect data for a few thousand, several thousand of them, you can actually add up the distortions and make a map. You can learn more about Chandra by either Googling Chandra or going to chandra.si.edu.